there guys, Erica here from High 49RC. I think it's about time for me to start a new project. I don't know about you guys, it's been a hot minute, I know, but I think I'm about ready for it. So, I want to grab my slash. And I was having an issue with this thing 2 summers ago. Roll the clip. That overheated again. This thing overheated 7 times before I finished filming that video, which was a massive pain. I'm sure probably laying in bed one night thinking, you know what, man, this thing is a pain. It overheats every 5 minutes. It's not fun to drive. What can I do? Well, for one, I'll tell you that I am very certain, like 100% completely, absolutely, unbelievably certain that it is not because I have a chassis cover on here that this thing is overheating. So, I had the great idea, let's turn my slash into a splash. See what I did there? We're gonna water cool this bad boy. I came up with the idea, like I said, after I finished filming that video, and I think this thing has some potential. I've got some really cool parts that I can't wait to show you. So, let's dive right in, head to the bench, and take a look. Before we take a look at my parts, let's talk about how a cooling system in a real car works. Basically, you have a tank. From the tank, coolant goes to a pump. The pump pumps it through the engine, so the coolant gets hot. Then it goes to the radiator, where a fan blows cool air across it. The coolant cools down, goes back to the tank, and completes the cycle, and that's how you basically get heat from the engine, transfers to the fluid. Heat from the fluid transfers to the radiator, and the heat from the radiator gets transferred to the air. More or less. I know there are some other things that happen there too, like thermostats and other yada yada, you guys don't care. Let's look at my parts. So, I've actually had most of these since I came up with the idea 2 years ago, but I was waiting on a cooling jacket for my motor from Australia, and that never showed up, so I'm out 25 bucks in a cooling jacket, but here we are anyways, I guess. This is a fuel tank from Nitro RC car, and that is going to be my reservoir. So basically this is what is going to have the extra fluid in it, because I'm just going to use water and it is going to evaporate. So that's my reservoir. I've got a pump here that I got off Amazon. I would have liked to find something a little bit smaller. This is a little bit kind of big and bulky. I'm going to have to make my own mount for it, which is going to be some machining, so stay tuned. You guys are going to get some machining with this project, hopefully. I've got a bunch of 3 different sizes of fuel tubing, also for nitro, and I've got some tubing here as well. So I've got a few different options. I'm not sure what I'm going to end up using, but we'll see how that goes. And I've also got some like fuel line clips, like clamps to keep it, you know, from coming off. Now, this is like copper refrigeration tubing. This is what I'm going to make my motor cooling jacket out of. I'm basically going to take 3 like pieces of it, wrap it around my motor, and solder it all together. That'll be later in this video, so stay tuned. That's what this is going to become. This is a water block. So this is going to stick on top of my ESC. I'm going to mill the fan, or the fins off, and then this is going to stick to the top, and that's going to get heat transferred away from my ESC. Now for the cool bit. These are hydraulic fluid cooling radiators. Yeah, from Lesu for 1/14 scale construction equipment. I learned about these on RC Sparks, you know, a few years ago, and I think these are the perfect candidate for what I want to do. I've got 2 of them. I'm not sure how I'm going to rig them up. I don't know if I'm going to rig them up in series or if I'm going to rig them up so that I've got 1 for the motor and 1 for the ESC, but we'll see how that ends up happening. Mounting these is also going to be interesting. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them. Hopefully somewhere up near the front of the vehicle, because, you know, that's a good place for radiators. It's about 4:30 on a summer July afternoon out here in California. Perfect weather for taking some temperature baselines of my motor and ESC before we start this project. So I pulled off my cooling fans for my motor because I want to basically assess this at more or less stock. I've got the ESC fan on there still, but that's fine. We've got long grass. I put my heavy tires on here, 3S lipo. I'm going to try and just go full throttle on this thing as hard as I can, and as soon as it quits, either due to overheat, lipo cutoff, or otherwise, I'm going to run over there and check the temps, and that will be what we've got to beat for this project. Okay, there it went. All right, let's see what we got here. .5? No way. 206 on the motor. 201. Yeah, okay. We're on about 206 on the motor. 176. 168 on the ESC, more or less. 180. Oh, 190. I saw 190. Yeah, 190 on the ESC. All right, let's see if we can't keep going and get it any hotter. Never mind, it's overheated. All right, this time I'm gonna try unplugging the fan on the ESC. So then it's not cooling off as I'm taking the temperature on the motor. But I'll take the temperature on ESC first, then the motor, I think, this time. And I'm not gonna put the body back on because that's a pain. I'm just gonna zip this up. And there we go. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see. ESC. 150. Oh, 212. I saw 212 in there. We're boiling. 245. 247. I saw 247, I think. Ooh, 233 on that motor. 233, yeah. Looks pretty consistent. Just for fun, what's my rear diff? 126, 127. Right near the bearing, also 127. 126. About the connectors. Whew, so toasty. 127, 168, 170 on the red wire there. About the motor connectors, those are hot too. 145, 160, 170 something. Yeah, dang, okay, so we saw like 240 on the ESC and 230 on the motor. That is insane. I'm gonna see if I can't hit it one more time, and then we'll probably average those numbers, and that'll be our test. You know what? As I'm sitting here waiting for this to cool down for the last run, we hit over 212. That means if this cooling system doesn't work well enough, it's gonna be boiling the water. That could be a fun set of challenges to solve. I could pressurize the system, but that would be a pain. I don't know what doesn't boil at 212. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, I guess. All right, there we go. Here's our last one. This one wasn't quite as long of a run as before. Let's see what we've got. 180, 170, 204, 239. Yeah, 230, very consistent. Okay, motor, 222, sorry, my hair. Oh, I saw 248. Ooh, 150, I might have seen 148, my bad. 220, 224. 226. I've got all this on video too, so I can see what I see later as well. But yeah, right down the middle. Yep, I think our last run was highest temperatures. So with that, now we know what we've got to beat. We might have a water boiling issue, if those high temps keep up, but hey, all the more fun problems to solve. Just because I think this is fun, I'm doing another one. There she goes. All right. Oh my God, my knee hurts so bad. Okay, let's see. 228, 230, 234. Try and get right down in there. 234 is best I saw, I think. 220. Yep, okay, motor 221, 220, 219, 217. Yeah, looks like 220 pretty consistent this time. It's interesting, it's cooler over here near the driveline. Whew, it is still cooking hot though, let me tell you. Alright, I'd say that's conclusive. Alright, now that we're back home, let's talk about locations for all of the cooling components. So, I did a little bit of messing around last night, pulled the chassis cover off, did some brainstorming. Basically what's going to happen, I think, is the reservoir is going to go in the back. We're going to make just a bent aluminum bracket for that, that'll bolt to the shock tower. I think the pump is going to sit on top of the battery mount. I'm going to put a piece of just sheet aluminum over top of this, bolt it to the ends so that I don't end up digging into my battery, and then I'll bolt the bracket, or the machined aluminum mount for this, to that piece of aluminum in the gaps so that the screws aren't digging into the battery. That's basically what I want to avoid there by doing that. So that's going to go there. ESC is going to stay where it is, and my radiators are going to go, there we go, they're going to get bolted on just there, either side of the front shock tower. I don't think that's going to be an issue. It should be out of the way of most debris. It'll clear the suspension too. Once I get them mounted properly and stuff, it should clear just fine. And then it did occur to me last night as I was laying in bed, I was like, you know what, is the steering going to be an issue? But no. It's not going to harm the steering at all. So, that's the plan. Here's a closer look at the radiator, now that's out of the package. If I do need to get a bigger cooling fan, or not a bigger one, but just a better one, I can go with the Ya-Racing Tornado fans, I think is what they are. And those are really good. I have one in my touring car, and that thing pushes a ton of air, so if I need more airflow across these, I can upgrade to those. So, I've got options there. If this pump doesn't really work out, I'm going to switch to a windshield washer pump from like a real car, because those things run on 12 volts, which is perfect, and they also are really durable. They'll last a long time, and they put out a lot of pressure and a lot of volume. So if this doesn't have the pressure or volume that I need, I have an option there as well. So first things first, I guess, I want to pull the motor off and find something that's about the same size that I can wrap my refrigeration tubing around, so then I can make the water jacket for it. Also, I have everything laid out the way that I decided to do it this way because of weight. I wanted to keep all the weight as even as I could. Radiators up front, tank in the back, pump in the middle. I wanted to keep it even, because I could have put the tank up here, put the ESC back in the tray, but then all the weight would be forward, and then it'll nosedive off jumps, and it's just not going to be overall as stable, you know? So, anyway, enough rambling. Alright, there we go, motor's pulled off. I want to find something that is a little bit smaller than the diameter of this motor, because when I wrap that refrigeration tubing around this, it's going to like spring a little bit larger than the diameter of the motor, and I want it to be as tight of a fit around the motor as I can have, so I want to wrap it around something a little bit smaller so that when it springs open, it'll slip on here perfectly, so when I solder it, it'll have as much contact to the motor itself as I possibly can have. Also, side note, look at how chewed up this pinion is. I might replace that by the time we're done with this, because that is gnarly. Alright, well, I managed to find our floor jack handle, so that'll work. And that's a spring, so that's cool. Alright, let's cut a quick length of this, wrap it around, and see how it does for, like, expansion. Oh, okay. It actually did not spring back open as much as I thought. Okay, in which case, I found another piece of pipe that, with this amount of spring back, should be perfect. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Let's give this a try. This is definitely a lot closer, but it's a little bit, it's bigger than the last one. Let's put it that way. Let's put this on here. You know what? Maybe I just want to be wrapping it around the motor itself. Let's try that and see if that works. I will be cutting the ends of this stuff with a Dremel, and then opening it up with a like an X-Acto knife or something, because I am literally just crushing it right now. So, okay, so that's too loose. Okay, I think that is what I want to use. This is just, yeah, okay. Let's do another test here. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. That is perfect. It doesn't move around at all, and it just slides right on. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to time lapse this next bit because it might be a bit of a pain to do, but I'm going to cut some lengths and wrap it around and make myself a cooling jacket. Okay. Wow, I'm actually surprised at how well that worked. Like, it slips on and off really easily, and the way that I wrapped it, it perfectly comes out by the wires, which is cool. This, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the rest of this, but hey, that's fine. I'm shocked, actually. I'm really shocked. I almost feel like I don't even need to solder that. But I think I'm going to try to anyways, at least in 1 or 2 spots, just to make it a little more solid. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. On a side note, yesterday I did do some experiments with soldering this stuff together, like basically just soldering it like you would a copper pipe, and it worked out okay. So I think as long as I'm careful with it, I think I should be able to make it work. Let's go give it a try. Soldering done. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but I'm more or less happy with it. I got what I wanted done. Basically, I wanted to get both ends soldered more or less solid so that they're not gonna, you know, start peeling off and all sorts of stuff, because there's gonna be the most amount of force on these guys. But overall, I think it turned out okay. I might get some more of the line and try and make another one or two, since, I don't know, I feel like I might be able to get a better result if I did another one. But for now, this is pretty good. Definitely happy with it. Fits nice and tight. And an added bonus is that when this motor plate goes on, it will actually hold it on there. So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty cool. Alright, it does look kind of cool, actually. I think when it's on there with all the hoses and stuff going to it, I think this thing's actually going to look pretty sweet. So, yeah. Also, I know you guys are probably yelling at me. I was using the wrong flux, but we're going to ignore that because I couldn't find our, like, actual pipe soldering flux. So I just had to use, like, electronic soldering flux. I know. Hush. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call that video there for today for a first episode. I think that was pretty good. I know we didn't do a whole lot of actual work on it, but I got a lot of my thoughts across and talked about the parts and all that stuff. And that's important for you guys to know what my thought process is and where I'm coming from with this. Also, I think I'm going to have to move to larger pinion and spur combo because it rubs on the center drive line there just a tiny bit. I'm not going to bother zooming in. Take my word for it. It's rubbing there, so we're going to have to do something about that. But otherwise, I gotta admit, that does look kind of neat. It does look kind of cool. So, alright. Yeah, alright. I think I'm done with this video then. So, thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a like, hit that subscribe, comment down below. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at highway49_RC. Follow my Discord. And support me on Patreon. All that's in the description below, as always. And if you can, become a member. That would be absolutely amazing. So, thank you again so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.